What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. We're a niche channel and reserved for the best. What's good, everybody? Sixth Element of Hip Hop. I am your host, Reno Noir. This is your co-host, Stu Dog. What's up, Stu? How you doing?
Peace. What's going
It
on?
is the first episode of Wars Wednesdays. So we can talk about Andor and others, but we're gonna talk about Star Wars basically on Wednesdays until the Star Wars shows have gone their way. But right now we got some shows coming up, so it's gonna be Star Wars fever again, and I can't wait for Andor. That is looking fresh to death.
Wednesdays usually our review day anyway. When we
Usually I
review,
review that. Mhm.
yeah, we review every damn thing. We don't give a damn what it is.
Right.
It's gonna be reviewed on Wednesday. That's how we get down.
Yeah. But we got a lot of Star Wars shit. We got House of the Dragon to talk about. You know what I'm saying? We got Thunderbolts. We got some topics, man, but mainly Star Wars shit. Andor's getting a double season premiere. They're going to start it off with 3 episodes. And it's a prequel to Rogue One. It's not, so it's definitely a prequel, not a sequel. And sees Diego Luna reprise his role as Cassian Andor, and along with Luna and as Cassian, they're also gonna have Genevieve O'Reilly as Mon Mothma, and Adira Arjona as Stellan, and Stellan Skarsgård, who's dope. Kyle Solar, Fiona Shaw, and Clemens Schick playing mysterious, roles that we don't know yet. But the first trailer for the show premiered at the Star Wars Celebration. But the second trailer, which we're gonna watch real quick in a second here, because it's just amazing. We watched it the other day, but I just want to get people back into that mode because that show is coming this month. I think August, or oh no, they might have pushed it. They might have pushed
Which
it.
one? Andor?
Andor, yeah.
Let me see. Andor.
They might have pushed it. But it is different from other Star Wars TV shows in one very big way. And this is something that I'm really excited about personally, because this is just the type of Star Wars I love. Is the real live puppets and the real animatronics and the real special effects, and not the green screen, but actual physical sets and stuff like that. And this show is going to significantly be different than the other shows, mainly because of that reason. They're going to be doing more realistic or more physical special effects, actual sets and stuff like that, versus because these latest shows, they've been actuals, not green screens, but actual screens where they show the backgrounds or whatever. And like when they filmed Rogue One, the cinematographers had issues adequately lighting the actors and the spaceships during the battle sequences. Using large LED screens solved the problems. And this inspired the creation of stagecraft, all right, or the LED volume, a technology that they use in modern VFX heavy studio productions that employ an array of LED screens to display, customizable backgrounds to simulate real world locations. The Mandalorian was the first television series to utilize, this technology, and every subsequent Star Wars show has used that volume until Andor. Star Wars has always been a leader in special effects, like straight up. Like they started shit back in the 70s, man. They were, ILM and all of that.
That's true. That's 100% true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they pioneered a lot. Even George Lucas talks about it. How they came up, and a lot of stuff they came up with on the fly. because they
Mhm.
had no,
Yeah,
they had to make solutions to their problems. He talks
right.
about that a lot. You watch his older interviews where he
Mhm.
says, we didn't have this, so we did this. We didn't have this, so we did that. I
Right.
mean, but like you said, it paved the way for a lot of stuff that we got going
Yeah,
on today. So
yeah. And
hats
and
off
and
to.
the Gilroy who's, doing Andor, he said that, he revealed that Andor did not use the LED volume technology during filming. He said that we didn't use stagecraft at all. He said the series is, he called it old school. Instead the upcoming Star Wars series is shot on multiple elaborate physical and location sets to, realize the alien worlds and of the show, really physically entirely. Although, the convenience of the volume is gone, the actors appreciated, to work in physical locations. You know what I'm saying? Like I imagine as an actor, it's got to be way easier to get into the role and into the character when you're in a physical set versus when you're on a green screen stage or a stagecraft stage. Just because of the realism of it. But Luna, who's playing Andor, explained that as an actor, he said it's beautiful. Everything is mechanical. He said you're interacting with real stuff, and that shit comes across, you know, to the viewer. I think Fiona Shaw said her character's house is physically constructed from old parts of a spaceship. She said, "I used to go out and just stare at it. It's amazing." But they likely used real sets to ground the story, in the cast, immersing, both the actor and us, the viewer, with, into that world of Andor. And using real world locations for shoots provides a specific scale that CGI sets and volume have, yet to fully achieve. Although films have come pretty close, as we've seen with the volumes, recent use to recreate Gotham in the Batman was amazing,
Mm,
and they used that technology in the Batman. Yeah, so that's what Gotham was made of. And, Luna, he recalled that he had to traverse up a mountain for hours to film one shot, but, it was beautiful, he said. He said all you could see around is the sky, the trees, and the rivers and the lakes, like being on another planet. And such a location only enhances immersion and believability for the viewers. So I'm really excited about this show. Because like the original films of the first Star Wars trilogy could not simulate big alien worlds on a computer like many of the modern sci-fi films, have done since. Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, had its actors travel around the world. I mean, back then that's what they did. They would have to go to location and they would travel to Tunisia, right, and build sets and shoot in the real desert, wasteland, to complete the effect that Luke Skywalker and his aunt and uncle, were actually on a desert planet of Tatooine. And although the volume and the computer generated effects can simulate those locations today, as VFX artists had for Obi-Wan and probably Boba Fett and shit, and there's still a palpable difference between what is real, and I think audiences are able to judge the on-set scenes for themselves. And yeah, Andor did get bumped. It did get bumped to September 21st, unfortunately.
okay.
It's about a month. Yeah, I'm pretty pissed about that actually, because the damn show's already made, and it was scheduled to drop August 30th. They're gonna push it to September 21st, probably for some stupid reason that has to do with, you know, their money streaming
Probably
fees
that.
and
What else? What else comes out that month? Well, you got. Well,
uh,
nah. I see why they did it. I get why they did it because it'll hurt. All right, you got football. Football will be starting. People still won't be home from the summer
but they knew
vacation.
that shit. They knew that when they first
That yeah, that was smart to move it back.
said it for August 30th. But the next Star Wars series is Andor, and it could look, I think a lot better than Obi-Wan. Um, leaning into that old school practical sets and all of that. I think that's gonna make a huge difference. That's what I thought Kenobi was gonna be. You know, when we saw those trailers for Kenobi, it looked like it was gonna be like film quality stuff. I don't know how they did that shit because they can do that with trailers, make shit look way different than it is. That's just brilliant editing, music, and all of that. It brings it and makes it
Yeah,
look crazy. But this,
Kennedy
I
involved in
think this will be a lot better.
Obi-Wan, man. That was just too
It
much
was,
Kathleen Kennedy involved in Obi-Wan. So now
yeah, and the
something,
cheapness, just the cheapness of the sets and the
everybody
and
should
the and
know.
the
Right,
acting.
right, exactly. Everybody should know now. Everybody should know now. Just let her stay in the office, stay out of the studio. Point blank. That's just how it should go.
Yeah, she
Marie,
should.
you ruined the whole series based on the fact of what you thought and not what people wanted. So that's what you wanted. You wanted Obi-Wan to look like that. You wanted that story to be told. Nobody wanted that. She got money. She could have produced her own Obi-Wan show, their own thing, put it out on the internet
Yeah,
instead of ruining my monthly subscription with the bull crap that we got.
or
You know what I mean?
that's real.
Yeah, man.
Another new show that I'm excited about is Ahsoka. That's
I'm
gonna be,
excited
I
about that
think,
as
good.
well. Yeah, I think Ahsoka's gonna be bomb. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see.
Yeah, there's
I just, you know what it is. I want to see. Aren't now? Wait, aren't they supposed to have like a? They're supposed to be an anime or something like that, or
what, Ahsoka?
CG or something like some. There's like a like a pre-show or something like that. They supposed to do. If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
well, there's those the shorts and shit like that.
The shorts.
But yeah, but it's not like Ahsoka. I don't think it's just Clone Wars. I think I don't know. I have to look that up because they did talk about something like that, but it's not about the Ahsoka show.
Okay.
No, but it is. There is something like that coming out.
Okay.
Um, but so Ahsoka, and this is, y'all know what she looks like and shit, but there's been a lot of iterations. We've had the CGI version on Clone Wars. We've got the comic book versions. We've got Rosario Dawson here.
I got that version.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. And like I said, it's the next show I think that's coming after. Um, I think that's the next one that comes after Andor, but uh they're having some sort of issues with the writer spoke out against frustrating canon dispute, and I don't know what they're talking about, but only a Sith deals in absolutes. While this oft quoted line from Revenge of the Sith was directed at Anakin, it also applies to the question of Star Wars canon. From the franchise's earliest days, canonicity has been an issue due to the Star Wars Holiday Special, early comic books, the expanded universe books, all the side stuff. And despite Disney's efforts to set it straight, and Kathleen Kennedy foolishly just Legends is not, can't, that's not going to work. But Star Wars canon confusion continues with the latest cause rooted in Ahsoka Tano and the upcoming Disney Plus series Tales of the Jedi. And I think that's the one you're talking about. There's a new Disney Plus. It's Tales of the Jedi. I think that's going to be the little shorts, kind of like the anime anthology, like Visions or something like that. But Lucasfilm officially announced, the new 6-episode animated series from the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels Dave Filoni at the 2022 Star Wars Celebration, set to release this fall. 3 of the episodes shorts are expected to focus on Ahsoka Tano, just not the show. It's just not part of the Ahsoka show. But some of these shorts are going to be Ahsoka related. Of course, this is far from the first and only series to further explore Ahsoka. And Filoni is currently filming the live action Ahsoka series starring Rosario Dawson, and which should come out 2023. But long before either series went into production, fans read about this character's past in 2016's Ahsoka by E.K. Johnson. So there's a book out for 2016. And while Tales of the Jedi is expected to show more of Ahsoka's past, there have been rumors suggesting that the Filoni directed series will contradict what fans read from Johnston nearly 6 years prior. As to what Johnston thinks of this and about the issue of canon, the writer has taken to social media to respond. And he's in the wake of the potential Tales of the Jedi plot leaks circulating online. Certain fans have suggested that Dave Filoni and Lucasfilm conspired to change the canonicity of E.K. Johnson's Ahsoka. But according to a post on Twitter by the author Johnston, that's not the case at all. She commented on how it's frustrating to see people gleefully declare my book non-canon. There isn't a big conspiracy behind the changes in Ahsoka's story. Dave approved the book 6 years ago and then kept working on her journey. It's frustrating to see people gleefully declare my book non-canon instead of just using their imaginations like we did. For the Star Wars faithful who weren't in the know, the fact that Filoni approved the book back in 2016 is important to note. But if the character's creator approved of the book that was Ahsoka's story at the time, then However, as the writer noted, it doesn't mean that Filoni stopped working on her tale. And that's kind of Ahsoka is not Johnston's character; it's Dave Filoni's character. So if he wants to change the story or whatever, that's in his prerogative, I'd say. Um, and we've already got the live action version in Mandalorian.
This is
But even
true.
though some have supported Johnston's view and pointed out that the book and new animated series can still complement one another, the Star Wars writer shared that he expects more of the same once the show debuts. But he said it's probably going to be more when the new animated show comes out. But the alternative is what we got with Luke, which is almost nothing. Um, what he wrote was true from a certain point of view. Before the start of almost every Star Wars film, we see the words "a long time ago" because Star Wars is supposed to be a chronicle of historical events. And while that's part of its genius, it's also part of its problem because everything has to fit. And any new form of Star Wars content, whether it's on screen or in print, is considered part of that history. But as time within this galaxy creates new opportunities for storytelling, it affects the timeline of the other, frustrating fans and potentially weakening the impact of those stories that came before. And since the content, new content is always in demand, and as Lucasfilm, looks to churn out more Star Wars projects than ever, it's likely that, Tales of the Jedi will be the last time the franchise has to deal with this issue. But though that's not what fans want to hear, in the meantime, it may be best to continue viewing Star Wars canon from a certain point of view. And for the sake of prior Star Wars writers and creators, rely on imagination before discrediting and dismissing the work that came before.
Mm. Well,
You know what I mean?
I mean, I agree. But at the same time, Star Wars has issues right now. They need to fix them, or they're going to lose a whole lot of fans. Um,
Yeah.
People are upset. I mean, look. I said it before. We're paying for Disney Plus. You raised the price of Disney Plus this year, and
Mhm.
because you said that, and this is what this came from Disney. Production costs a little more. Prices are going up on things. You got to pay. All right, cool. You got 50 million subscribers. You got to raise the price by $1. You just made $50 million. So
Right.
for my money that you raised the price of this streaming service, come on, you got to give me better quality. You got to give me what I want. You got to give me something that's going to make me renew my subscription every year,
Right.
or pay for,
Or
or pay
every
for a
month.
monthly.
Right.
Pay for a monthly. And Disney has not delivered too well. It's been hit or miss every time. It hasn't been consistent. And they're gonna have to start. Netflix is consistent. They got a variety of shows. They do this, they do that.
Yeah.
HBO Max, same thing. They're consistent. Warner Brothers, consistent.
Mhm.
Paramount Pictures, consistent. Disney, they're all over the place, bro. And it's not the content, it's the quality of the content that they're putting out.
Right.
People want to see, yeah, people want to see the stuff they putting out. People like,
Right.
oh yeah, I want to see this. I
Oh
want to
yeah.
see Andor. I want to see Obi-Wan. I want to see Spider-Man. I want to see Miss Marvel. But then when you get the quiet, you're like, well, damn, it's this. Damn,
But it's got to be
I could
good.
this. Right, this. Damn, somebody could have wrote this and put it on YouTube. Like,
Right.
damn, people like I could have got that for free. That's how people thinking, and
Mhm.
Disney has to understand that. They're just living off the name Disney. Oh, because it's Disney and we're putting it out. It's gonna be good. Not
Right.
anymore.
Right. This is true. And I think, they're starting to learn. I hope that they're starting to pay attention. They're starting to, learn from mistakes and maybe listen to viewers a little bit. Um, and hopefully, you know, Andor and Ahsoka and the Acolyte and these other projects, hopefully they are better than, Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi. As long as they are, I think everybody's gonna be happy because, like you said, people want the content. I mean, you can give us all the content, all the Star Wars shows in the world. People are gonna eat them up. Just make them good. I mean, you have a
Right.
goddamn cash cow. That's why you paid Lucas $1 billion for the IP because you knew, the potential. Well, realize the potential. Make that shit good. Use it because we want it. We'll take it. We'll take all of it you can, create as long as it's decent. But, Rogue One was the first anthology film in a galactic franchise ripe for further exploration. And Gareth Edwards, I think, wrote it. Epic, you know, told the story of a small group of rebels that defied, the whole empire and stole the plans for the ultimate weapon, the Death Star, because we had that in the movie. We got the plans for the Death Star, but it's like, how'd they get the plans? We never saw that. So Rogue One tells us how they got the plans for the Death Star. And
Which I love. And so
dude,
like so I thought that they were gonna keep doing that. Like some of the stuff they talked about in Empire, we didn't get to see. So I thought
mhm,
that they were gonna like when Han Solo's talking to Princess Leia, talking about the bounty hunter they ran into on whatever planet stuff. I mean, come on, you could have gave us something in between Star Wars and Empire, and in between
mhm,
Empire and Return.
mhm,
Nothing, bro. Nothing. Nobody asked
mhm.
for these other three movies, but those movies could have been that. You know what I mean? We could have got
Yeah,
those in between movies
yeah.
instead of
This
what
crap
is it,
they
seven,
gave us,
8, 9, or
made
whatever
up
they
shit.
gave us.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
made
so
up a bunch of dumb shit. I mean, but that was the thing. And Disney, Disney did not want to continue Lucas's Star Wars. That was the crazy thing that I couldn't figure out, that I finally came to realize, and I heard it said, and I started to figure it out. They never had any intention of continuing Lucas's story. They wanted to create their own Star Wars, just using the name and, maybe the planets and some of the tropes, and stuff from it, and use that to make their, Disney Star Wars empire. But, Star Wars is not normal. It's not like anything else. If you don't follow what George Lucas did, you can't because it's just so unique. It's not like anything else. You can't. It's very specific. There's certain, you just can't make up your own shit with it. You got to kind of follow the world that Lucas created, and that's fine. It's not going to be redundant. It's not going to be whack. It's not like you can't create new stories because just like you said, Stu, there's so much shit in between story, in between the movies, before the movies, after the movies, shit we heard about decades and centuries and millennia before the movies. There's all kinds of stories you could tell. You could tell what happens to Luke Skywalker's great grandkids. Doesn't matter.
Dash Rendar.
You'll never run out of
Everybody's
shit.
been asking.
Yeah,
Everybody's been asking for Dash Rendar. You could have did a
right,
whole trilogy movies about Dash Rendar.
right. You
Uh,
got all the video
Prince
games.
Izor. Yeah, video games, Prince Izor, Star Killer. They did all of that, man. But they
Yeah,
chose Kylo Ren. They chose Rey. They chose Palpatine. I mean, that story was over. It was done with it. I mean,
yeah.
come on. There you go.
Well, y'all know. Speaking of the video games, y'all know Cal Kestis from uh fucking Jedi what's it called? Fallen Order. Fallen Order
Fallen.
from Jedi Fallen Order. Um yeah, so he I guess the question was posed, is are we ever going to see Cal in live action? Are they ever going to bring him out of the video game universe? And the actor has commented on that subject. He said, "Well, of course there's interest, and that's about all I can say." uh so, very tight-lipped about it, but I think it's inevitable. That's another example. I mean, that's a whole world of stories that, has never been explored in any movies or shows that yeah, they could use. Cameron Monaghan doesn't appear to be the only one at Lucasfilm who's aware of the Kestis crossover hopes. In recent years, almost every new Star Wars Disney Plus show has made some sort of nod or reference to Fallen Order. Like they have canonized that game. For instance, the animated series, the Star Wars The Bad Batch visited Bracca, the scrap planet from that game. And then there's a BD
Yes, they
droid.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a
Mhm.
BD droid in Book of Boba Fett, which was Cal Estes'
That's
BD-1,
true.
Also, the
That's true.
Fortress Inquisitors episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi seemed directly inspired by the events and imagery from that game. So, yeah, they've been peppering it in, so it only makes sense. But, there's the fact that the mainstream Star Wars is currently focused on the same time frame as Cal Kestis' story, which is the years between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. And then many expected Obi-Wan Kenobi to be the series to feature Kestis, while others, are hoping that Andor is where we're going to see him first. But no doubt there has been ample opportunity to feature Fallen Order Jedi in live action. And even now, that opportunity I think is better than ever. And the question is whether Lucasfilm will capitalize on it, or reserve the character for the games alone. But I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I know a lot of fans would. I know like my son loves that game, so he loves the character, and so
Oh, a lot of people do.
I know a lot of people do. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. But Hollywood's not that smart. Keep saying
Yeah,
it,
we'll
bro.
see. Yeah, we'll see. We will see, but yeah, Rogue One, ends with Cassian sacrificing himself to make sure the Death Star plans are safely delivered to Princess Leia. The upcoming series, Andor, however, starts 5 years prior to that with Cassian, as far as you can imagine him away from being a hero. He said, I had already answered many of the questions that the show answers myself for my process as an actor for Rogue One. He said, now I had the chance to explore that with Tony Gilroy, who's an amazing collaborator and a beautiful writer. He points to a moment in Rogue One where Cassian tells Felicity Jones, Jyn Erso, with a ferocious, conviction that he's been in the fight since he was 6 years old. Remember, so they, you know,
Yep.
um, they always talked about him being this spy and being with the resistance his whole life. So there's a whole lot of content, man, that I wanted to see. So this Andor show is definitely going to explore that. He's a very interesting and dark, wounded character. I mean, I think he's a good anti-hero. I hope they play it as that. So
I hope so too. But Hollywood's not that smart. I mean, it's just a lot. It's a lot of that going on. Like Batgirl, whatever they're going through. So they just shelved a bunch of shows. I was reading that Batgirl is done. Like it's pretty much production is done. It's just like a few like odds and ends, maybe some CGs they got to put in or whatever. Just like little stuff. And it was supposed to come out this fall on a streaming service. And then they were gonna make it a theatrical release as well. But now they just shelved the whole project. They just said, never mind, just let it go.
yeah,
Girl, movie or show or whatever they were gonna do with it. That's done, and we're not gonna get it now, or at least as of right now, we're not gonna get it. But WB's going through it too, so you know,
Secret Wars, yeah. Yeah, yeah, they all
yeah,
going
Secret
through it.
Wars. Yeah, yeah, I can't wait for Secret Wars either. Secret Wars look like it's gonna be.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought we should already got
So
Secret Wars.
yeah, let me see this. I want to show y'all this real quick. I thought this was pretty cool. Well, pretty interesting. Get it up here. So if McGregor were to play, like if they were to reboot A New Hope, right? Like reshoot it, like make A New Hope over again, rebooted with new actors and shit. With Ewan McGregor playing, replacing Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan, who would, play the rest of the characters? So they got Cole Sprouse as Luke Skywalker, which he who is he? He's from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. That's right. Yeah, so that's interesting. I don't know. I'm sure they could do better than that. What else we got? Maisie Williams as Princess Leia. I could see that.
Mm.
She's Arya from Game of Thrones, and she was in the New Mutants as well. What else? Yeah, it could work. I mean, listen, God rest the
I
dead,
could
but
go with
I
that.
never, yeah, and like I said, God rest the dead, but I never found Leia. I never thought she was like pretty. I never thought I mean, she was like Carrie Fisher. You know what I mean? Like she's all right, but she wasn't like all that they made her out to be. And
Right.
Maisie Williams on that level, so I think it's decent. Then they do Alden Einrich as Han Solo.
No, I don't know about
Did
that
you
one.
already not learn? That's why
Mm,
that movie was whack. That's why Solo was whack. So no, this is a horrible casting for Han Solo. Can we get somebody that could act a little bit like Harrison Ford, maybe? It's, a novel idea,
or pull
but
off the scoundrel role. Would
yeah,
pull that off?
yeah, yeah. What else we got? Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader, no brainer. The voice though, I don't know what you do. You have to use James Earl Jones' voice. You cannot make up a new
Just for the
voice
article about that, how they how they do that with him, and how he did this Darth Vader, and how they
with the
came to do,
yeah.
how they even came up with the voice. Period.
And they
How
use
they
the
came up with
technology to recreate James Earl Jones without him actually saying the lines. That shit crazy.
yeah. I was like, damn, this is crazy, man. Like, well, that's what I saw. They said that future proofed it for him, you
Mhm.
know. But as far
Mhm.
as like getting him to do the voice, um, they said he does it. He's still
Right.
doing it.
Yeah.
Of course, he would. It wouldn't be. He's gonna sound older, but they do something to
Yeah.
make it, to keep it sounding the way it is.
Then they got Junis
It,
Sutamo as Chewbacca.
is he tall enough?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they picked him. Maybe it's because of his size. Let's see. While it might not be obvious because of the costume, Chewbacca has already had two actors. The first portrayal of the voice was Peter Mayhew, as we know, who played him all throughout the original trilogy and Revenge of the Sith. However, years went by. Mayhew passed on returning due to health concerns, and as a result, he acquired a new protege in Finnish basketball player turned actor Junis Suitamo. Suitamo took up Mayhew's mantle as the walking carpet and studied under him in order to play the part to the best of his ability. Stumo played Chewie in both the sequel trilogy and Solo, and even shared the role with Mayhew while shooting The Force Awakens. Unfortunately, Mayhew died of a heart attack in 2019. Who better to continue the legacy? Oh, okay. So, yeah, another no brainer. He's already played Chewie. So, there you go. That's a good one. This I found really interesting. Daniel
That would be
Craig.
now. I can see that as
That would be
Grand Moff
dope,
Tarkin.
though, right?
Yeah, I can see that. He would play
That would
good
be
Grand
dope.
Moff. Yeah,
that would be dope.
I can
That
see
would
it.
be dope.
Either him or Benjamin Cumberbatch. I can see that. One of those two. They
Mm,
could do
yeah.
they could do great.
No, Benedict could do it, but I'm tired of him right now.
Yeah,
I'm Benedict.
I can
I'm
see one
Benedict.
of them too. But
Yeah,
Daniel Craig, yeah, Daniel Craig will make a
yeah,
good.
yeah,
He'll make a good
for sure.
target.
And Kevin Michael Richardson's as Jabba the Hutt. Hmm.
I can see
Let's
it
see why.
because we didn't
Yeah,
see. You know what it is? We didn't see a lot of Jabba in either of the movies except for the last one. So like, yeah, it wouldn't make a difference who played Jabba.
right.
As long as you got the deep raspy voice down, it wouldn't make a difference, bro. Because we didn't see a
I,
lot of Jabba, and he's a CG anyway. He's a
yeah, you don't
CG.
hear him. I mean, he doesn't talk. I mean, blah, blah, blah. So in 1997, 20 years after the first release of A New Hope, the film was released into theaters a second time. But this time around, the audience came to find that several changes have been made. Computer generated creatures and characters littered the screen. But the biggest change was the addition of several scenes that were previously deleted from the original cut of the film. One particular scene occurs in the Mos Eisley hangar when Han Solo attempts to board the Millennium Falcon, but is stopped by Jabba the Hutt. The notorious gangster from the Return of the Jedi comes back, not as a puppet, but as a fully rendered CGI character. So you remember that scene when they're walking to the Millennium Falcon and Jabba's there, CGI talking, they're like walking and talking Han Solo, and they added that to A New Hope, but it was a deleted scene cut from the original movie
It was real,
when Jabba the Hutt
but it was a
was
real
a
man.
human man. Yeah,
It was
he was not a slug at
a
all. He
human
was a
man.
human man. He was a big fat guy with like a fur, he's like a big barbaric guy. That was, originally who George Lucas had, who had envisioned Jabba the Hutt, the vile gangster, was a guy. So how he made it into a slug, I don't know. We don't have that. I don't have that story, but it would be interesting to find out.
I do, I do.
Okay,
If you
break it
watch,
down.
if you own the Star Wars, the remakes, and you go to the special features and all that,
Right,
George
right,
Lucas said that at the time they Jabba always looked the way he did, but they didn't have the technology to put him in there, so they made a regular man do it, but they filmed it. So when they got to the last movie, they had changed the look of Jabba to what they always wanted it to be, and they did
mm.
it, but they had deleted the scene from the first. So when he went back and redid them, he put Jabba in there because he could do it CG wise, and he didn't have to have a man actor do it. So that's what
So,
they just
so
said
you're
that when they
saying
when
they
they
were
filmed it,
gonna
it
do
just
the
didn't work.
man? So,
No,
but
they originally drew up the script. I mean, they originally drew the characters, and Jabba looked the way he did. It was a little different, but he looked the way he did. But when they tried to do it, they couldn't do the slug. They couldn't do the man. It just didn't look right. Uh, George Lucas said. So he said by the time the third movie came, they could do Jabba the way they wanted to do it. And when they did the
right,
remakes, he could add that deleted scene in there because he always wanted that scene to make the movie, and that's why they did it. But they had already filmed it. From what I saw, they filmed it.
yeah, I
It
got
just
that. I
didn't make
got
the
it right
cut.
here.
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
didn't make the cut. Yeah, it literally didn't make the cut. They cut it out because he said it didn't look right,
right,
and Han Solo's interaction with him wasn't. It just wasn't right. They just said it just didn't feel right, and they always wanted Jabba to be an alien. They always wanted him to be an alien looking alien. They didn't want him to look like a man. And like I said, they couldn't do it until Empire. And what Return of the Jedi came out what 10 years later or something like that.
nah,
So
10, no, it wasn't 10.
what was it? It was 81. Star Wars came out in the 70s,
Yeah,
and Return of the
77, the
Jedi
first
came.
one.
Yeah,
So A New Hope came
and
out. Yeah,
Return of the Jedi came out what 85 or something like that.
nah,
Almost
I'm
10
like
years later.
80, 81 or something. It's like 3 years
81.
later. Yeah, 10 years later, that would be 89 or 87.
No, no, not 87. I know it came before 85. That much
Yeah, it
I
was
know.
like 81. I think it was 90. I think it was 77, then 81, then 83. I think it's 77, 81, 83. I have to check it. But yeah, it was
Yeah, 83 came out 1983.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 years later. And look how much see, like we were talking about earlier. Look how much advancement they came out with
Yeah.
in cinematographics,
Mhm.
photography. Like you said, stuff that they just look
Special
how much more
effects,
they
yeah.
were able to do. Special effects, yeah, special effects wise, look how much more they were able to accomplish in 6 years from 77. You know what I mean to 83. I mean, come on,
Yeah,
they
it's
they did a
amazing.
lot. Yeah, it is amazing. They did a lot. They made a lot of advancements, and they were always the forerunners. They were always the forerunners in special effects, man. Back then,
Oh, yeah.
Lucasfilms, yeah, they
Yeah,
were
they
always,
pioneered that shit. Yeah.
they pioneered a lot of shit, man. And they
Yeah.
did a lot. And you got to think he worked a lot with Steven Spielberg, so they did a lot of effects for them as well in his movies. I mean, come on, you gotta, it's a lot
Mhm.
went into that. It was a lot, they, him, Spielberg, they did a lot together, man. They
Yeah,
pioneered a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah,
And then
they
you got
they
to
did.
remember the animatronics,
They changed
CG
the whole
graphics, and they're
game.
great. They're great. But the puppets, when they did the puppets and the
Yeah.
animatronics, man, that's amazing, man. You got to really think about, what they did and how they did it and how they brought
Mhm.
that to the screen, bro. That was just, man. When I say that was, it just when I was a kid, that stuff blew my mind. When I used to watch Fraggle Rock,
Yeah, yeah.
Labyrinth, The
The
Never
first
Ending
movie was
Story.
77. The second movie came out in 1980. Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980,
Yeah, the third was 83.
and the third one's
Mm,
83. Mhm.
mm. And like I said, you got to remember. I mean, you look at the animatronics, you're like, damn. Like, even today, watching it today, it still holds up. Like you like, damn. Like
Yeah.
you did, but it still looks good. Like you like, damn, that still look good.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
even now, you can show a
Mhm.
little kid that now, and they'll be just as captivated as we was when we were kids.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of kids they came up on the prequels first. Like my son, his age, like the prequels are for them like the originals were for us.
Right.
And
Yeah, my sons too. Yeah.
yeah, but this is the okay, so this is our lineup. What we got coming out: Andor, we got a droid store, we got the Acolyte, Jedi Survivor, that's the video game, Skeleton Crew, Tales of the Jedi, Bad Batch, season 2, Visions. Oh, that's so I can't wait for Visions season 2, dude.
Let's see.
Mandalorian 2. So
What's
Vision.
Vision supposed to be? Yeah.
You don't remember Visions? That's the one, that's the anime anthology.
Oh, that's the anime joint. Yeah, yeah.
All the
That was
different
dope.
animes.
Yeah,
Super
that was
dope, man.
dope.
That's
Yeah, that was
that's some of
dope.
my favorite things that Disney has done.
I still watch those, man.
Hell
I
yeah.
still watch those. I'm like, well, Defective
Jeff
Chimp.
Chimp, what up?
I
Yeah,
still
bro.
watch those joints, man. I
Oh
still
yeah,
literally,
Visions?
I just watched them the other day, man. Even though I seen them
Hell
all,
yeah.
I still watch
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of kids, we got some dope new figures coming from the Black Series coming out. This cat right here, he's like an android bounty hunter cat. Then we got that's your boy what's his name? Ed nah. The redhead dude, the comedian that was in Mandalorian. That's his figure. Can't think of his name, damn it. Bill Burr. That's
Bill
Bill
Burr.
Burr. Yeah, that's the Bill Burr figure. I gotta get the Bill Burr figure, and then this
That's
shit
the
right
one I
here. I
want. That's the
got to
figure
get
I
this.
want. Man.
Yeah, this
Well,
is
me and my son
that's the
collect
one
all the
right there.
Jedi's. And me and my son collect all the Jedi's from the Black
Yeah,
series.
yeah,
So
I
we
got
get
all
we
of
get the
them. I got
Jedi's and the bounty hunters. Those are the ones we
I
get.
get
Cause
I
just
get the Siths and the bounty hunters. That's what I get. The Siths and the bounty hunters.
we get yeah,
The
we get
only
the Jedi's.
yeah,
Whether they're Jedi Sith, we get those and we get the bounty
I
hunters.
get
So we get
yeah, I
all
get the
we get all
Mandalorians.
force wielders. We get force wielders and bounty hunters. And the only
Yeah.
droids we ever get is R2 and C3PO.
The only droids I got so far is the bounty hunter droid, one of the bounty hunter droids, and then that tall linky skinny droid from Rogue One. I had to get him. Um, but yeah, I got all
Oh,
the Sith. I
yeah,
got
you talking.
Thrawn. I got yeah, all the Mandalorian stuff, like any Mandalorians I got, and all the Bad Batch dudes. dark saber, any black armor troopers and shit. Yeah, I got all them shits. Yeah, those are. But this one, that's next on the list right there. That's the Luke Skywalker from the Mandalorian uh finale when he came.
It might have to pre-order that. You don't pre-order that, people, you probably won't get it.
And
So
this motherfucker here
go
is
to your
the
local
hot
GameStop.
toys. That's a Hot Toys.
Is that?
This is a Hot Toys figure right here, y'all.
That's dope.
Battle damaged Vader. That's a hot toy for your ass. And I like that. That's some dope. That's dope. And
That's
it's not
dope.
Star Wars, but this is what's coming out for the this is Namor. This is Namor for the Wakanda show. Aztec Namor.
That's dope.
That's dope. Hopefully it'll be
Take
a dope show.
Speaking of other news, man, I finally got to watch the Funk Flex and Conway thing that went down
Oh
on.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to say honestly, um, Conway was right. You know what I mean? Flex was right too, in some retrospect, but Conway was 100% right. I mean,
Yeah.
DJs are the gatekeepers, man. They if they ain't spending that shit, like you gotta understand something. Rap came out of New York, and we should be doing boom bap in New York no matter what. And
Right.
I understand they want to play the new shit because you know the young kids they want to hear some of that other shit all through that trap era, whatever we're going through. Right now it's about drill and grind. So like all through that trap era and all through that, it should have been 70-30. 70% drill.
Mm-hmm.
I mean 70%, trap, 30% boom bap. It should have never left. In New York, you need to stand the fuck up. Like I'm gonna keep it a buck. And they not. They sitting there and they laying down and they just, New York is just letting it go down the way it go down. But you got some cats in New York that can spit. But now they like, damn, if I want to get my shit heard, I gotta spit to a trap beat
Yeah.
or a drill beat. And it shouldn't be like that. You know what I mean?
Hell
Because
no.
you still got, you got motherfuckers that still spinning real hip hop. I call it real hip hop. Motherfuckers, they try to call this old school. What it ain't. It's
Real
real
hip
hip
hop.
hop. It's New York. I call it New York hip hop. I call it boom bap. I call it real hip hop.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna get
That's
out
what
of
I
me. But
call
I'm
him.
never going to diss it. I ain't gonna never diss it. Be like, oh, that's old school, because it ain't. It's jokers that really spit. And sampling
Yeah.
is something that we do in hip hop in order to make beats. So it's like, you got the DJs got to stand the fuck up. And I get what Flex did because Flex just had it out with Jules Santana. But I think that Conway woke Flex up. I think he woke Flex up. I think Flex is woke now, and Flex
Mm-hmm.
see the error in his ways, and he coming at these rappers and other DJs hard because he like, look, I'm gonna spin your content, but you got to give me content. But y'all ain't giving me none.
Exactly.
Yeah, he
Exactly.
like, y'all gotta give me some. Like he was just on Jules Santana about putting out some music, and Jules ain't put out no music. But the dopest thing about hip hop is that it was, and that whole thing was it was entertaining, and we
Right.
entertain. That's what we do. Is we entertain. Hip
Well,
hop is an entertaining thing.
Funk Flex,
And
he ain't done.
hold on, the dopest thing about that whole thing,
Put these
was
on top of the
Him and Flex did a song after that. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
I thought that was the flyest thing ever. Like that was fly. They had the big argument, whatever, and then they came together and made a dope song after that. And that's how it should be. You know what I
Right.
mean? And Conway, right? New York got to stand the fuck. This niggas. Conway never came out trying in the South. Neither did his brother, and neither did his cousin. You know what I
Right.
mean? Etho, none of them, man. Flea Lord, they spitting for real. You got cats
Mhm.
that live on the East Coast, live in New Jersey. I never heard of Etho. I never heard of Flea Lord. I never heard of Rome Streets.
No, well, that's
You know what I'm
because the
saying?
industry
I
don't
never
push
heard of
those.
I never
The
right. I
industry
never
don't.
heard of Al Divino. I never heard of Crime
They
Act.
not pushing that shit. No,
You know what I'm
they
saying? I
not
never
pushing
heard
that
of
shit.
RLX. You know what I mean? I
Nope.
never heard of RL. I never heard. I don't know who Rock Marciano is. Come on, how? How you don't know who these people are? They straight from right
Because
here
the
where we
industry
at.
is not. Because the industry don't push those artists, man. Them. If
But
you're not looking for that,
that's the point.
that's the
That's the
problem,
point
and
that
that's
but
what they
that's the
talking to
point
Funk
that
Flex about.
Conway was right. That's what Conway said. Y'all the gatekeepers. Y'all should be like, I ain't spending I'm spending this shit tonight. I ain't spending.
Mhm.
I'm spending. I do trap on Wednesdays, but the rest of the week we playing New York shit. We rapping New
Well,
York. Because
he
when you go
called
to
out
Atlanta,
Funk Flex. He called out Math Hoffa again now to stop talking about it and be about it before
that's
calling out
true.
Joel Santana to complete the next to complete the. But Funk Flex is on a mission to prove that he's still that guy on New York radio after Conway criticized him earlier that month for being a gatekeeper. But he's
And
still trying,
because
man. Like they
but
went back and
Conway was
forth
right.
online, but they settled the differences, right? They linked up for the
Nah, and
freestyle.
they looked up for the freestyle. But
Right.
Conway was right. Conway was 100% right. Flex wasn't wrong about some of the stuff he said. Flex wasn't wrong about the stuff he said. But Conway was 100% right. It's
Yeah,
you. You the one got to
Flex
push
was
it.
wrong
You
though
got
when
the platform.
he came at Pete Rock, he was dead ass wrong. But
Well, that
Math
was
when
well,
Math
that was
Hoffa discussed the New York hip hop scene during an episode of his podcast, My Expert Opinion, what he said about Flex, he recalled asking Method Man if the DJ would play their collab Double Barrel. While the Wu-Tang legend said Flex would definitely play it on the radio, Math says he never did. And then he added that he said, "This is why I said rest in peace, K Slade. New York is in trouble." Because meanwhile, Funk Flex caught wind of what Math Hoffa said, and he challenged them, and said, "Send him a hot song to play." He said, "Don't talk about it, be about it. Send me a hot song to play." And he told Math, he said, "Give me 5 songs before Thursday,
that's
7
true.
p.m.
That's
Let's
true.
see if you're
That's
ready.
true.
If you got a hot
That's
one,
true.
I will play it. If nothing ain't hot out of the 5 songs, we keep it moving." And that's true. But then and then
But
and then
that's how it. But that's how it's always been. But like I
and then
said,
that's how it's always been.
I think Conway woke him up. Don't talk about it, be about it. Give me some good music to play.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
you got to
hopefully he
remember,
get back
Jules.
to hip hop.
I ain't heard nothing from Jules, and
Funk Flex was
I ain't
put
heard
on the
nothing from
map
Jules and
by
Wiz.
lyrical rappers. That's what put
Yes,
Funk
he
Flex
was.
on the map.
He was on the map.
So he
That's
can't
true.
front. Now he want to front on lyrical rappers making fun of people because they got bars. He literally making fun of people because they got bars. He was like, "Ah, you a bar rapper." What? This hip hop? You know what I'm saying?
That's
But
what. But
then,
that's what comes. But see, that's what comes out of New York. Bar rappers. That's what come out of Detroit. Bar rappers. You know what I
well,
mean?
that's
The
what
way motherfuckers
yeah,
rhyme,
but
the way
now
motherfuckers
it's
rhyme
a
from the
whole lot of
South.
other shit
That's
coming
how
out of
they.
New York.
Because they want to get
Fuck
it.
shit
Because they
coming
want
out
to
of New
get the.
York.
You know what it is, Reno? Because they want to get their shit played. Some motherfuckers is
Right,
trying to eat off of this shit, and they like, I'm tired of
right,
eating mayonnaise sandwiches. You know what I'm
right.
saying? I want to eat steak and lobster. So
I
if I
want to
want to get
put
my
mayonnaise
shit
on some
heard,
meat.
if I want to get some bracelets on my arm, if I want to get some gold, you know what I mean? I need to spit. I need to spit over
You
that trap
gotta
shit.
you gotta do whatever is hot.
But it's motherfuckers in New York. They got bars. Like keep it real. The bar. You damn. Listen, Funk Flex should be saying, you know what? Tonight is bars night. You know, I'm going back. I'm, I'm doing strictly New York style because I remember I read an interview where actually no, I watched the interview where West Side Gun was talking to a guy, and the guy told him his music sound old school. He said, "Yeah, it sound." And West Side Gun went off on him. West Side, but it was in a nice way. He ain't jump up, throw no chairs. He was
Mhm.
screaming. He just told it you. He said, "Yo," he said, "First of all, talking about my shit sound old. It ain't nothing old about the music I'm making." He said, "I'm from New York. I'm from the East Coast." He was like, "When I make my music, it come out like that. That's how it comes out. I'm not in here trying to rap like everybody else, sound like everybody else." He said, "You check my catalog. My catalog is distinct. I don't sound like everybody. I don't need my beats for nothing." And he right. He was like, "Don't say that. Don't say I'm old school because I don't sound like I'm old school." And then the dude that was interviewing, he had to correct himself, like, "Oh, no, 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 I didn't mean it like." He said, "Nah, because that's what you said." He said, "So look, when I rap and I make my music, that's how it come out, because that's where I'm from." He said, "I'm
Mm.
from New York." He rap like I give, shout out to Buffalo, man. Word is born. They've been holding it down the last 5, 6 years, man. And I'm
Buffalo
gonna
on the
keep it a
map
buck.
now.
Yeah, they on the map, right? You wouldn't expect some jokers out of Buffalo to
Mm-mm.
come out like they
Buffalo
came out
was on some
and do
yeah.
it like they doing
They put
it. Like
Buffalo on the
you
map. Buffalo was on some country shit, some real bumpkin shit. That's what everybody thought, but They let him know, nah,
Nah, nah,
we get
Buffalo.
down
No,
and
we get down out here. Buffalo
listen,
holding down the
anywhere
whole
the
New
mob
York State
is
East.
at, we get down. Buffalo is a heavy mafia town, man. That's what people don't realize. Buffalo is a big mafia town. But so when Funk Flex challenged Math Hoffa to the, give me them songs, he did it. He went out and he made 5 songs. Well, I don't know if he just made them, but he had his fans on his YouTube show, 500,000 fans during help him choose 5 songs during the live stream, and they did. And true to his word, Funk Flex chose Math's new Super Gangsta single, and he played it live while giving him props. He said, "Math, you delivered, my brother. I see you and I commend you, my brother." Flex then called out Joel Santana. Check out the clip. You can probably find it on YouTube. And listen to the new Math Hoffa track alongside, and then R.I.P. Sam Smith freestyle from Conway and Funk Flex. And Joel Santana's humorous reply, he said, it was a joke, trolling fun. He said, first word, he said, "I accept." He said, "I'm in the studio now." Joel Santana to Flex, before teasing, he said, "Watch till the end." But in an exclusive interview with allhiphop.com, Math Hoffa explained why the challenge was about putting on for New York City and not about a beef with Funk Flex. And that's the important part. He said, "I love my city. I fell in love with hip hop here. And I believe if you love something or someone, you support them, period." And, he said the success of the Griselda camp and artists like Joey Badass proved that this New York sound is still very much desired. And, it's
It is,
still,
Reno. They just don't play it. It's
it's perfect
100%.
timing.
How many times you listen to somebody or you talking to somebody random and music and the title and the subject of music come up and
Mhm.
they say stuff like, "Damn, man, I'm dying for some real hip hop," or "I'm dying for some boom
Every
bap,"
time
or
it's out
like
there,
whatever happened to such and such.
it's
You know what I mean?
plenty
Or
of
why
it.
can't they? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
people asking for it, but it's like Conway said,
It's
they're
not that it
not
ain't out
playing.
there. It's they're not
Right. It
playing it.
ain't that it ain't out there. They just ain't playing it. They
The
ain't
industry don't
pushing
push
it.
it.
And as
The
hard
the
as we work,
social
as hard
media
as
don't
jokers
push it.
work, man. And it's sad because I
Like,
remember
we got
when we first.
Amir, who was on our show. Pete Rock did his album. Phenomenal MC. Hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Pete Rock on production. Come on, man. And that shit is new. That shit is coming out. It's a lot of shit like that coming out. That's
Like why you think
not
when
even on the
Muggs
level
on the
of
news,
Math Hoffa and Griselda and
right?
Rome Streets and
Why
all of
you
them.
why you think Rome Streets was when I first heard Rome Streets, you know where I first heard him? DJ Muggs. Why you think Muggs come back to New York, come back to his roots, scoop guys that spit in bars, bring them out west, hit them off? Because he's supporting. He's a DJ that's
Mhm.
supporting, man. Shout out to DJ Muggs. DJ Muggs supporting real hip hop. He's supporting boom bap. You know what I'm saying? He ain't fronting on
Always.
nobody. He like, look, these
Yeah.
guys got bars. They spitting. He
Yeah.
was the one. When I first heard Throne Streets, I was like, damn, who this Joker? I'm like, yo, he dope. Then I went and listened to his catalog. I was like, damn, he kind of tight. Then
Mm-hmm.
he did an album with Muggs. Muggs been putting all
Oh,
of them
yeah.
on. And now he's got a new um a Soul Assassins album coming out soon. And the new Soul Assassins album, the single was Slick Rick and Method Man. But he did say that he's doing a dream project that he always wanted to do, and he's doing it with Slick Rick. So shout out
Nice.
because we ain't heard nothing from Slick Rick in years. So
Yeah.
I'm glad he's hooking up. I'm glad he's hooking up with Muggs,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm glad Muggs is doing it.
Definitely. Definitely. Um, so we was talking about Cal Kestis earlier. And Jedi Fallen Order was a new game called Survivor out. Check out this trailer, y'all. Watch this shit.
Follow. Why fight? When you can't win. What is your next move, Jedi?
You know how dope that shit's gonna look. That's gonna be amazing.
That's a game, right?
Yeah. That's the
That's the
new
game.
Cal Kestis. That's the sequel
That's
to
the
Fallen
sequel
Order.
to Fallen Order. Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't wait. I can't wait, bro.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be dope. Well, we just hit our hour mark, man. So that's our show, guys. But we are gonna be back Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 6:30. We'll be right here until my new schedule, and then we'll probably be changing our show schedule quite a bit. And this is the Star Wars comic book of the week. Let me get that. We got that. That's that Boba Fett action figure variant cover.
That's that dope variant.
Oh yeah. That's a beautiful book.
Need that in our lives.
Yes, sir. So yeah, guys, we'll see y'all. We'll see y'all every Wednesday, every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. But we'll be doing Star Wars stuff mostly on Wednesdays, reviewing Star Wars shows and things like that. So stay tuned, y'all. Peace.
Peace.